but the seagulls poking my head, not fun. I said, seagulls, stop it now.
Hello. This is the 77th Test from the Future, an experimental podcast from the year 2222, which we are sending from our present to yours. My name is Dirk.
And my name is Simon.
And we're putting the past in podcast. And today we're double excited.
Mm-hmm.
Our topic is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And
then even more exciting, we have a sponsor, our first sponsor.
Yes.
We're going to get rich, so rich.
We have a sponsor, and not just a sponsor, but it's from the 21st century.
Sure, of course. Yeah, right. I mean, we spoke about it a long time ago. That's what we want, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
We're sending this podcast back 200 years. Doesn't seem like it would be any good for companies from 2222 to advertise to people in the year 2022.
Yeah.
So, no, this is a company from back in your time, listeners.
And somebody, I don't think we should mention her name, but she emailed us from an email address from the actual company. Mm-hmm. And she told us they wanted to sponsor us.
Right. That's how it all got lined up.
We even got it in today and just in time for the podcast. Mm-hmm. So we just discussed it and we said, let's do it immediately. Mm-hmm. Get it out of the way.
Yeah.
And it means we
it's fresh.
We have to read a text, right? That's what she said.
Sure, yeah, right. It's they wanted it a bit scripted. So right, we have a script.
And then Simon has to read a bit, I have to read a bit.
Back and forth.
Exactly. And then we get money.
That sounds like a great way to make money. Reading stuff aloud.
Yeah, that's super easy.
Yeah,
I hope
read, I can speak.
Yeah, and we didn't practice, so I hope it's fine, and I hope it makes sense to the people from the 21st century.
Indeed. Shall we go?
Yeah, let's
okay. Check this out, listeners. This is a real advertisement. So, every time we are done recording, we pay a visit to the nearest KFC.
Their menus are great. Their chicken is extra crispy, and their vegetarian options are plentiful.
All chickens lead a happy life before they get chopped up.
This is
a bit grisly. Wait a minute.
They're
talking about chickens, yeah, like the animals.
It's about real meat. I'm reading the rest of it.
I forgot. This is 200 years ago. They're weirdos. They kill actual animals and eat them up.
Oh man,
can't do that.
Okay.
I like money, but I don't like it that much.
We should have read the text up front.
We could have done.
Should we restart the recording? This makes no sense.
Yeah. We'll stop this. Let's not. Because how are they even going to pay us?
She didn't mention.
Huh. Let's work this out for future sponsorships. First, that we are okay with the thing that's sponsoring us, and also how we're actually going to get paid for it.
Exactly. She didn't mention that.
No.
We should.
It's our first time.
Oh, we can't reply, of course, because it's an email from 200 years ago.
Correct.
And we shouldn't mention her name for privacy reasons.
But she's totally listening. Which makes sense. I mean, this company KFC, yeah, they
exactly. Please let us know how we get paid, and please
don't sponsor us again.
Exactly.
Or stop killing animals.
Exactly.
Yeah. So other stuff. Kentucky Fried, something else that begins with C.
Exactly.
Chickpeas.
Mars bars.
Okay. Chocolate. Kentucky Fried Chocolate.
Kentucky. Oh man. Here. So you don't have to pay us, but it's a free concept.
And you can pay us.
That's
good too.
Kentucky Fried Chocolate. I would go there.
Yeah.
Oh man, now I'm getting hungry. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
KFC, they're great.
If you ever email us again, please Kentucky Fried Chocolate. Mm-hmm. Okay, so never mind. Okay, so that was less exciting.
I still got a little excited with the ideas, but it was we'll work a bit more on our future sponsorships ahead of time.
Yeah, I think we got carried away a little because it was our first offer.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It was so exciting.
Okay. But then we have real exciting news.
Right. This is a little bit of follow-up in the sense we mentioned. So some weeks ago I won a competition.
Yeah.
The prize was a pair of jet pants and lava boots. And now I finally got them. Mm-hmm. Took them a while to get here.
It was the Soul Jupiter contest.
Correct. Yeah.
That was the runner-up prize. Mm-hmm. And then the runner-up prize were several sets of gear. And this was
I wasn't the only runner-up. Other people got them too, but yeah.
But that's great.
Mm-hmm. It's been a few weeks now, so I can't actually remember exactly what my idea was that they liked. But I remember it was something to do with
fried chicken.
but not real chicken, you know.
I know.
Yeah, of course. Who would but like frying pseudo chicken and having it with waffles on the moons of Jupiter.
Something like that, yeah. Wow, that's a coincidence.
It's a pretty big coincidence.
Maybe that's why they thought we could be good
lined it up.
sponsorship.
Oh,
and then
talking about that. And they didn't realize we were talking about pseudo chicken rather than animal chicken.
And we coincidentally scheduled it in an episode. Okay, wow, everything ties together. You could almost think that we planned it that way,
Either that, or there's some time travel involved,
or something like that. But they're the newest models,
right? Yeah. That's part of the thing that makes them a nice prize, yeah, rather than just sending me like some that are a few years old. No, latest versions of their jet pants and lava boots.
And the thing is, this is the proper stuff.
This is legit.
You can't. They don't make them better than these because
and they do make them worse, so, especially like with lava boots. Yeah.
Oh man.
So these ones you can actually walk on lava. Yeah. They won't melt. You won't fall in and die. There are ones which are called lava boots, and then they'll have some really fine text underneath saying you can't actually use these to walk on lava. Don't use these to walk on lava. We're not liable if you fall into the lava and die.
Exactly. And then
they're just for like walking on hot sand at the beach, which is nice, and you can do that with real ones too. But the ones which are only capable of that, it's a bit misleading that they're called lava boots.
It's because so little people use lava boots to walk on lava. They make lava boots that don't really...
Aren't up to spec.
that you can't really walk on lava with then a disclaimer saying, just in case the name confuses you, this is not for walking on lava. Well...
It's like, I think... 200 years ago, they used to have these things called hoverboards, which couldn't even hover.
True.
It was misleading, so it's a little bit similar.
Supermarket didn't have superpowers.
Exactly, yeah.
And so it's this disclaimer here as well,
yeah. Okay, but these lava boots, I did test them. I mean, you get some legit ones that can really walk on lava, you're going to test them. So I did that.
You walked on lava?
I went to a volcano, teleported to a volcano, into the volcano. It's a bit of a trek if you want to climb down the inside of a volcano, so it's much easier to simply teleport directly in there. With the boots on, of course, and also a suit, to withstand all the heat and the sulfur and everything.
But you can't just teleport there, right? You need to get special permission.
Of course, yeah. Sorry, I say yes. You need the permission beforehand. Otherwise, everyone would be teleporting in there with their cheapo lava boots and melting and dying. So that would be really sad.
That would be sad.
But these lava boots, they mentioned the smell of sulfur still does get through the suit. It's really strong down there, but it was really nice.
Okay,
fun to do.
How does it feel? Lava,
squishy.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, you're walking around on molten rock, yeah, so it's a little bit squishy, a little bit of give to it.
Is it sticky?
Not sticky.
Okay.
Really warm. Like even through the boots, as your foot actually, so you lift your foot up, it gets noticeably cooler.
Oh, really?
As I'm walking across, step down into the lava, it's a little bit squishy, a little bit of give. So also, lava boots, it's not just that they withstand the heat, it's that they also they've got some like the same kind of tech as in grav belts, that you don't just sink into the lava.
But are you sweating?
The boots. So the boots do have air conditioning to keep your feet cool, and also the suit has cooling as well.
I mean, I can imagine because of the heat, but I actually meant because of the fear.
Right, that kind.
I mean, I would just
had trust. These look legit. These lava boots. So
because if you feel like it's getting warmer, it's like, did it ever get so warm that you thought this is uncomfortable?
No. The cooling is good enough that it's warm. Like, you'd be a bit cheated I would have felt a little cheated if I'm walking on lava and I was just really cool the whole time,
Yeah.
So I appreciated that I felt some warmth, but it wasn't painful,
But that's how you can then probably recognize the real deal, because if it's super cool, you go like you're a bit distant.
Yeah.
And also like you don't feel the seriousness of the environment that you're in, and if you feel the heat a little bit, you're maybe more respectful.
Yeah, and I had a stick with a marshmallow on it. To see what, could I cook it? And no, it's so hot down there, the stick and the marshmallow just instantly burst into flames. Like I teleported there and then so that was a good way to have a feel. Okay, it is really hot here. The fact that I'm able to walk and not be killed by the heat myself is the suit I'm wearing. Suit was rented, I just got the lava boots were what I won, and I rented a really good suit.
Were you wearing your lens ring?
My lens what?
Your lens ring. The one, the ring you use to control your lens.
Sure, right. It was on my finger, but it was under my gloves.
Okay. So it didn't fall into the lava and disappear?
No, I was wearing gloves. Like I say, a suit, it was a full suit. Yeah, okay, sorry, not like a three-piece? Not the kind with a shirt and a tie.
Okay.
A kind where it's like, all over with gloves, helmet.
That would be my biggest fear if I walk on lava.
Your glasses, lean forward, your glasses fall off your face.
Yeah, but it's like the only real accessory that I have is my ring.
Right.
And if my ring falls into the lava,
yeah, because you'd be sweating. So sweat, maybe from the heat, you'd think it was, but also when I get warm, at least my fingers swell up. They get bigger, so it's unlikely for a ring to fall off.
I would have nightmares of my ring, seeing my ring disappear in the lava. Did you use them for anything else? Any other hot surfaces?
I did go to a beach just to check them out on the
Worse
hot
than a
sand.
beach?
I mean, like I was saying earlier, they should work. But I wanted to see, does it feel any different? Basically feels the same as the cheap ones that are only for sand.
Did you also try the beach without the lava boots to check if it's actually hot?
Yeah, it was a hot.
Oh,
I went on a hot day. It was hot sand.
I hate that. Okay.
Yeah, but they were a bit bulky for that, like you can also just wear.
But then you walk to the water to go for a swim, you're like chunk, 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 and then you get to the water.
But they're waterproof. That was nice, actually.
Oh, okay.
But sure, for swimming. Yeah, okay. You take them off if you're going to swim. If you just want, it's actually really nice if you just want to walk in the water, like to cool down, but you don't want to float around so much because they're pretty heavy. It's actually kind of nice like that.
Okay. But otherwise you can just leave them in the surf, go for a swim, and then get back.
Yeah.
Although they're really expensive, right?
Yeah, but it's a nice beach. It's all good.
Okay.
And I also went to an old steelworks. It was a reenactment of Terminator 2, Judgment Day. It was
the movie.
It was the bit where the T-100 is sinking into the molten steel, and he like puts his thumb up.
Yeah.
But what's funny is because it's a reenactment. What I did was I ran across the molten steel, grabbed him by the hand, and pulled him back out.
Oh, cool!
And he was like, "Hey, thanks."
And I love those movie reenactments.
Yeah, where you can like interact a little and maybe change it as you like.
And even Terminator 2. That's
a good one.
That's in my top 3 of Terminator movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was pretty fun.
Like 15 is my number 1. Then 2, then 1.
I don't like 1 myself so much, but 15 is really good. That makes sense. I think that's all I used it for.
Okay. I heard they use them at Mercury for mining and stuff.
Yeah, for the robots that are walking on, right, not like we've said before, the side of the half of Mercury that's facing the sun.
Yeah.
I mean, some robots have, when they know they're going to be working there for a long time, they have their feet changed for not lava boots, but for that kind of tech. But when they're just there for a day trip or something, then they'll also wear some lava boots.
And they're the same manufacturer, right?
Yeah.
I think
they make all different sizes, to fit.
I think Seoul is the manufacturer, right?
I think so, because it has their name printed on them, and it's sure this was their competition.
You would imagine that this is initially developed for planet work, and now they've kind of commercialized it.
I think so.
Did you try the jet pants?
I did, a bit less, because I have a grav belt, And the main so they both of them you can use them both to fly, and the grav belt I use much more often because it's more like hovering,
Yeah.
So it's useful if you just want to get up somewhere high, and jet pants are more when you want to go fast, and that is fun.
I think jet pants are also much more widespread, right? Like I have jet pants.
Okay, yeah. For getting around, like. If you want to get from one place to another, but you don't want to teleport because you fancy flying, that's what they're really good for, because you can move so much more quickly than with a grav belt.
Did it have any clear innovations compared to, let's say, the one that I have?
It was easier to control them. So because at least in the past when I've used jet pants, it's easy to overshoot what I'm trying to go for here. And for example, with these, it was it's just easier to slow down when I wanted to and not like overshoot.
Okay.
And also actually to get up to speed, they got up to speed much faster as well.
Are they the same ones from the commercial where they focus on, let's say, the fine grain movement? Is it the commercial where they catch seagulls?
Yeah, that's it. Exactly, where you overshoot a seagull, you're not going to catch it easily.
Yeah.
With these, it's really easy.
You can
you basically zoom up really fast. Seagull doesn't even know what's going to happen. And just as you get alongside it, you can reach your arm out and hug it in a little embrace. And it slows you down enough that you don't hurt the seagull. You give it a little hug, seagull's going, what the fuck? And then you let it go, and then you zoom away. And you zoom away fast enough so it can't peck you. Like, hey, why did you just hug me?
For like with the jet pants that I have, they're really good for brisk movements, like sudden bursts. But just like the fine grain, like left, right, like a bat would be doing, or like a bird. No way. So, okay. I mean, that's kind of cool, but then like the practical use...
Yeah, I mean, I say all that's from the advertisement as I was describing, the hugging the seagulls. I wouldn't do that because it seems a little rude to the seagulls, to give them hugs without them wanting it.
What I would have loved is the moons on Jupiter. That's what we spoke about in the Sol episode, right? Like every moon has a certain environment. And all of this gear that Sol is developing and that you want now is like super useful in one moon or one Jupiter environment.
Yeah, yeah.
So I know they have the lava moon. Which moon is the jet band?
I mean, I think there are at least a couple which have really low gravity. So it's easier to fly around rather than trying to walk around.
And maybe for the rings?
Sure, yeah, jumping from ring to ring as well. Like, because pretty sure we mentioned before. So Saturn's has the most famous ring around it, but Jupiter also has one that's a bit less visible.
Right.
And to jump from rock to rock.
Yeah.
Within that, you can of course use other techniques, but jet pants are really, especially these ones that are so maneuverable, they're a really convenient way of doing that.
But that's part of the attraction when you go to Jupiter, right? You get the lava boots, you're on the lava moon, and you get to experience a few days there, and the same with all the other environments. But I know that they've been starting to rebuild like bits of that in walls, right? So you have some of the walled gardens where
there's little lava lakes.
Exactly. And I've never been there. I know they're building one in the Skyline Plaza now, but I've never been to any of these. That could be cool if you have the gear. You don't need to rent it. It might be cheaper.
Sure. Or I mean, so yeah, of course, sure. If you don't need to rent them, it's a bit cheaper. It's also just more, regardless of the cost, that if you have them, you just maybe think to do it more.
Yeah, fair enough.
You see them in your house, you go, hey, yeah, I can go do something with those.
And but the levels are sponsored by Sol as well, right? Because Sol is constructing them. At least in Skyline Plaza, Sol is constructing them.
Yeah.
Okay, but have you tried?
I haven't been to the wall yet. I'd like to try out there. I mean, like you say, some of them are still being built, and I haven't been to the ones that have already been there for a while.
That would be cool. We could go there once.
Sure, and you could you could use my ones if you like, or you could rent some, meaning like jet pants or lava boots, depending which one we go to take part in.
And I'm thinking maybe this is also if they build a level, and they have, let's say, a super cool one with lava boots and a super cool one with, let's say, the slingshot or so, which is I think is
right. Because of course they combine things. Yeah, like when you start out, when you first go in, then you do it one at a time. But then as you get used to one thing, then you can combine it with something else. And
then you want to buy a slingshot of your own, and then I can see the business model there. And then once you have a slingshot, you go more, and then maybe you want to try the electro wire and so on.
Exactly, and the boomerang as well.
Yeah, okay. Wow. I'm getting enthusiastic and suspicious at the same time. This sounds like fun, also sounds like a lot of money.
Sure, I mean, it was a competition, but the competition was to also let people know about, to promote all the stuff that they make and sell and so on.
True. And of course, like if it's fun, then it's worth the money, obviously. But okay, that sounds actually pretty cool. Then, is there anything else to add about the gear set?
I really like, especially when I opened the boxes and took them out. They smelled really nice.
Yeah,
that was satisfying. They made when I opened the box, it made a whoosh sound. It was very satisfying.
Did it actually come straight from Jupiter? I forgot if I asked that last time.
I opened them so quickly and threw away the packaging, I didn't notice what was written on them. So I don't know.
That would actually, yeah. Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
But so the unboxing was nice.
The unboxing experience was very nice. And I used to keep boxes like that for a long time because they were so nice. And a few decades ago, I realized I had a whole half of my house full of them. Now I don't keep them anymore. I get rid of them straight away.
I can imagine keeping them if you want to relive the unboxing.
Potentially, yeah. But I again, also a few decades ago, I realized I'd never actually did that. And also I used to, originally my thinking was, hey, I'll keep them in case I want to return them. I mean, in this case, it's a present, so it doesn't even apply. But hey, I maybe want to return it. I don't want to keep this thing. Yeah, I never did that. So.
You know where all the boxes go?
No, where do the boxes go?
They go to the box world.
Right.
Okay, but if you ever want to relive the unboxing, you can hit the cams and just rewind there and watch it.
Yeah.
But I guess the first time is the best one.
Yep, that's why I rely on my memory more. Though that's getting less reliable, but I rely on my memory more.
Fair enough. Also, we live long enough that there's always new cool stuff to unbox.
Yeah.
And then because we record this podcast, we have to get the newest stuff.
Yep, it's part of it.
Maybe we should actually get all your gear sets as well, just for the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we can file our tax returns and say we needed that for work.
But then buy it ourselves. Or get the manufacturers to send it to us for free. I think that's also a possibility.
That would be better sponsorship. Because I'm saying work, but we're not making money from this.
No, it doesn't count as work, I think, unless you're paid.
This is a very fun hobby.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we check if we have some listener questions?
Yeah, we have 2. It looks. Wait, do we have 2?
No, yeah. So I noticed I scanned the inbox.
Okay,
and
like you filed it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Because a few episodes ago we asked our listeners, how do you actually listen to our podcast?
Yeah.
And answers have been coming in, but I'm thinking they're pulling a prank on us.
Like joking with us.
Yeah, because so far, like, we've got, I don't know, 7, 8 different answers, and none of them make sense.
Oh dear.
Shall I?
Yeah, let's have a look.
So one of them says, I'm just using my computer and my mouse.
I mean, the computer part, sure, but
Yeah.
how does the mouse come into it?
Makes no sense.
Like, is the mouse narrating? Like, the mouse is reading like, why would they have it as text? But is the mouse?
The mouse is listening to it and then
retelling it? Why not just listen to the...
Or maybe the mouse has better ears and then plug into the...
Maybe the computer can only play it really quietly, so it's too quiet for them to hear. The mouse has more sensitive hearing. This doesn't.
Or maybe the mouse is picking it up and then connecting it to the computer. Because the mouse has really big ears.
Right.
However, we send it back to the past.
But I see why you think this is a joke.
Yeah, we're now trying to make sense of this, but the person is probably joking. But at this point, I thought it's probably real. We just don't understand. But then see the next thing.
Right, a phone, a telephone.
You can't. So
telephone, as I understood it, was for calling someone else and talking to them.
Has this big handle at the top that you lift it off,
and then a wheel with numbers.
I mean, I saw a video of it.
Right. I saw some in the museum.
Yeah, exactly. You can't. Like, how on earth can you?
Well, so I say you as they worked, you dialed a number, and that then let you speak to someone else. Maybe when they were speaking to someone else, instead of there being a person on the other end of the phone, that's how they listened to our podcast.
You dial the number of the episode or something like this.
Yeah.
Maybe our podcast has a code, and then after dialing the code, you dial the episode.
Maybe.
But see, like again, could possibly be, but sounds very unrealistic.
Exactly. No one's mentioned So the iPod was the one we assumed.
Yeah.
I mean, we have one.
We have one and it works.
On. So presumably some people listen to
Nobody
iPods, but at least no one's mentioned it from 2022. Yeah, no one has mentioned that they listen to Test from the Future on an iPod. And also a Ghetto Blaster, yeah? Like, that seemed like it would be a way to listen to...
It was in our box of all tech.
Exactly, but no one's mentioning that they put cassettes with Test from the Future into this thing to listen to.
See, both of these things would make sense.
They would make a lot of sense.
But there's more random stuff.
Right,
I'm not reading all of this,
but
Echo, for example. There was Echo in there. Somebody listens to our podcast through an echo.
Like in a cave? Like, I guess they go to a cave and they hear us echoing, but how did it get in the cave?
Maybe they yell our podcast and in return our episode comes.
Okay. But that's not an echo, but yeah.
You say Test from the Future and then the whole episode comes.
I thought you meant they have to basically, they've got like maybe a transcript and they read it aloud and then they hear their own voice echoing back.
See,
that's a lot of effort to go to. Maybe
and there's more nonsense like this. And also every time it's a different name, but the style of the email is the same or similar. I think it's just one person
messing with us.
It's like, through the Echo or through the phone or through a mouse. And then, thanks.
Thank you all those folk who replied, and you don't have to joke with us so much.
Exactly. And never mind. We don't really need to know. We were just curious.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Okay, and then we have one more question. It's actually the last one we've got from Felix. I thought we did have a lot of them from him, and we've gone through them all. And this one is in response to episode number 72. And actually 2 questions, yeah. So I'll say them both, and then we can take turns for replying. What happens if the weather thingy gets hacked by hackers? The first question. And the second question, what happens if the teleport system shuts down whilst someone is trying to teleport?
2 questions.
2 questions, but in one email. So.
Yeah, so that's kind of his style.
Yeah, true. He's done that before.
Shall I take the weather one?
Yeah, you do weather, I'll do the teleportation one.
Well, first of all, I think weather thingy is a really nice name for it because it's the technology that it was used to control the weather. That sounds super complicated. The weather thing, I like that. Yeah. And also, really good question because it did happen at the time. Because when the technology was developed to control the weather, episode 72, I think this was, then both government and big corporations were working on this. And when the government does something, they do it properly. It's super secure. It just takes forever.
Sure, but it's...
super secure.
Yeah.
And then the corporations, when they do it, it's done super fast, but has all kinds of holes. They just want to get it to work as fast as possible. And then this got hacked by all kinds of people. But the thing is, it didn't really work properly.
Right.
So when it was being hacked and influencing the results, that negatively influenced the results, but also the hackers tried to accomplish something which also didn't really work. And then what they actually tried to hack was not super dramatic, just for the fun of it. See if they could hack into it and also control the weather. And then I remember this situation where somebody didn't get invited to the, I think, Swave Bowl tournament it was. And then they wanted to freeze over the tournament location in spite. And then they hacked, and then they froze over their own neighborhood because, the thing didn't work properly. So those kind of things. So they did happen, but the technology is no longer in use.
Yeah.
So I guess if it had worked and they would have perfectionized it now, then you need to be a really good hacker to still hack into it, and then probably would suddenly start to snow in Frankfurt or something like that.
But as it was, they hacked in, nothing much was noticeably different.
Exactly. And of course it didn't really work, so it's now defunct. So they can hack all they want. It's not working.
Yeah.
You want to get the second part?
Yeah, I'll just read the question again. What happens if the teleport system shuts down whilst someone is trying to teleport? So I understand the question, and so I don't know if we explained before how. So basically, to answer your question, Felix, that cannot happen. Or rather, okay, it can. What happens if it shuts down? You just don't teleport.
Yep.
It's not that you're in the middle of teleporting somewhere else. It shuts down and then you've disappeared. The way it works is you start the teleportation process, and only once you've appeared on the other side, that's when you're deconstructed at the place of origin. Yep. So if it shuts down halfway through, you never do appear at the new place, so you're never deconstructed. So it's all good.
Yep. And
it's designed that way on purpose, of course, so that you don't just disappear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just in case, although it never happens, you still have your backup from when you teleported last time.
Yeah. So. And especially teleporting as often as we do, those backups, they'll be very recent.
Like worst case, you don't remember what you had for dinner yesterday. Right. But I don't think it ever happened.
I don't think so. Not to me, anyway.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for another couple of fun questions, Felix. Looking forward to your next ones. But for today, that's it.
It is. I'll quickly mention the standard mention. People listening to our show 200 years ago, please let us know that you heard this episode number 77 by writing to us at michaellasagna5@gmail.com and putting the number 77 in the subject line.
That's it.
I'm reducing it as quickly. I'm making it as quick as I can.
Smart. If you want to get the real long explanation, listen to the first episode.
We probably went on about it much more.
Okay. Then, thanks for listening, everybody. And see you in 200 years.
Bye-bye.
Stop it now.